Hello my students, how are you? In this week we are going to start with this new topic that is very interesting and is also very useful. It is present perfect. So this is the present perfect. Be careful because this is not the perfect present like he has here. It is the present perfect, okay? So look, what we need here is the auxiliary verb has or have, okay, has in the case of he, she, or it, and have for the rest of the pronouns, and the most important for me, the past participle, okay? What is the past participle of the verb? Remember that when we learn the verbs, we have three columns: present, past simple, and past participle. So the past participle is the third column, okay? If it is a negative sentence, we use has not or hasn't, have not or haven't, and the past participle. And when we are writing a question or when we are asking something, we use have or has, the auxiliary at the beginning, the subject, and the past participle of the verb. Okay, how does it work? Look, for example, I have traveled. In negative, it is I have not traveled or I haven't traveled. And interrogative is have I traveled? And I use the question mark, super important. Okay? And the same happens with the rest of the subjects. Okay? They have traveled, they haven't traveled, have they traveled? But look, he, she, or it use has. He has traveled. He hasn't traveled. Has he traveled? How can we recognize the present perfect? We can check some signal words. Okay, for example, ever, never, once, many times, already, yet, so far, always, before, just, recently, or lately. Since, for are also used with present perfect. Okay, take this into account because sometimes we tend to confuse or to be confused with present perfect and past simple. But if you see these words, you say, oh yes, this is present perfect. Okay, so it is important to think of this unspecified time before now. Okay, so we are here in the present and it happened in the past, but we don't know. Yes, we don't know when. So when we are talking with past simple, we are specific with the time, but with present perfect, no. Okay, so we can use present perfect to talk about experiences. For example, I have been to France. Or changes over time. You have grown since the last time I saw you. Long time no see. Or maybe with accomplishments. My son has learned how to read. And this is beautiful. Okay, can you see? My son is he. So I use has. Or you are expecting something to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. So, for example, the rain hasn't stopped. You're waiting for the rain to stop, but it hasn't stopped. The rain is it. So, this is why I use has. Or multiple actions at different times. For example, the army has attacked that city 5 times. Okay? So, as you know, and as I always say, practice makes perfect. This is why I want you to write sentences in present perfect using these words, okay? For example, Bob visit his grandma. Bob is he, so Bob has visited, because this is regular verb, his grandma, okay? Auxiliar has a verb in participle, visited his grandma, okay? So this is the activity. You're going to make the sentences with these words, okay? Here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences in this slide, and in this one you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 more. So you need to have 10, okay? 10 sentences in present perfect. You can do it affirmative, negative, or interrogative, okay? The way you want, but don't forget, use the auxiliary have or has, and also remember to use the verb in participle, okay? So this is what you have to do. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next week. Goodbye.